Hey everyone, welcome back to StoryVoyage, where we dive into the most jaw-dropping and emotional stories that you won't believe are real. In today's episode, we're continuing with some intense tales of betrayal and shocking revelations. Buckle up because this one's going to be a wild ride. Caught my wife cheating. What I did after will stun you. Part 2. So this happened a couple of months ago and I'm still in disbelief. I had been married for 3 years. We had what I thought was a solid relationship, but I started noticing small things, late nights at work, sudden interest in appearance, and always texting someone but being secretive about it. One day, I came home early from a business trip, something I didn't tell my spouse about because I wanted to surprise them with a nice dinner. As I walked into our bedroom, I found them in bed with someone else. But here's where it gets crazy. This person was my best friend, who was also supposed to be out of town. I was furious, but I managed to keep my cool. Instead of confronting them immediately, I decided to turn this into an opportunity. I quietly backed out of the room, and the next day I filed for divorce. But here's the kicker: I knew that my best friend had recently been evicted and was living out of hotels. So I offered for them to stay at my place, acting as if I knew nothing about their affair. I let them both think they were pulling the wool over my eyes. I even suggested that my friend move into the guest room to save money. For weeks, I pretended everything was fine while I gathered evidence. Then, one night, I sat them both down in the living room, played the hidden camera footage I'd collected, and told them I wanted a divorce. The look on their faces. Priceless. My spouse tried to explain, but I wasn't interested. My best friend tried to apologize, but I kicked him out. It was the most satisfying moment of my life. I walked away with my dignity intact, and they lost everything. Our 10th wedding anniversary was approaching, and I wanted to make it special. I had planned a surprise getaway for my spouse and me. Little did I know I was the one in for a surprise. A few weeks before our anniversary, I noticed they were getting distant. They'd spend hours on their phone, and there were times they'd leave the house late at night, claiming they were meeting up with friends. I started getting suspicious and decided to check their messages when they were in the shower one evening. Turns out they were having an affair with a person they met at the gym. The messages were graphic, and it was clear they had been seeing each other for months. I was devastated, but I didn't let them know that I knew. Instead, I went ahead with the anniversary plans. On the day of our anniversary, I handed them a beautiful gift and envelope. Inside was a plane ticket and a reservation at a 5-star resort. They looked at me, confused, and I told them it was a gift for them and their lover, as I knew everything. They turned pale and started to stammer. I calmly told them that I'd already filed for divorce, that I'd be moving out of the house that night, and that I'd told their parents everything. I wished them a happy anniversary and left. A few days later, they tried to reach out to me, begging for forgiveness, but I was already gone, starting a new life without them. The best part, they had to explain to their family why we were divorcing, and they were just as shocked as my spouse was when they found out I knew everything. I caught my spouse cheating with one of their co-workers. We had been going through a rough patch, and I had a gut feeling something was wrong. I followed them one night after they said they were going out with friends, and sure enough, they ended up at this person's apartment. I was furious, but I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I played along. I pretended everything was fine, even suggested we go to marriage counseling. They seemed relieved that I wasn't suspicious, and I knew I had them where I wanted them. During our reconciliation, I did something I'm not proud of. I hacked into their phone and gathered every piece of evidence I could. Messages, photos, even videos. I compiled everything into a file and waited. Then, on our reconciliation trip to the cabin, which I knew they were excited about, I revealed everything. We were in the middle of the woods, miles from anyone else. I told them I knew about the affair, showed them the evidence, and told them I wanted a divorce. They broke down, begging for forgiveness, saying it was a mistake. But I didn't care. I handed them the divorce papers right there in the cabin and told them I'd already signed them. I left them there to figure out how they were getting home. I took the car and drove off. The divorce went smoothly thanks to all the evidence. I got everything I wanted. They lost their job after I sent the evidence to their boss, who was not pleased about the affair happening in the office. It was brutal, but I felt a sense of justice. This one is still fresh, and honestly, I'm still reeling from the fallout. I had been married for just under a year when I found out my spouse was cheating on me. It was the worst betrayal I've ever felt. They had been seeing their ex behind my back. I didn't confront them right away. Instead, I decided to hit them where it would hurt the most, their social media. My spouse is a social media influencer with a decent following, and they've always been obsessed with their online image. I started collecting evidence of their affair, screenshots, photos, you name it. I made a fake account and began posting everything online. It didn't take long for people to start noticing. Their followers began asking questions, and they started losing sponsorships. Then, on our first anniversary, I posted the bombshell, a video compilation of all the evidence, including messages between them and their ex, and a final clip of me wishing them a happy anniversary and explaining that I'd filed for divorce. The video went viral. They lost nearly all their sponsorships, their reputation was in tatters, and they were forced to go offline for a while. Meanwhile, I moved out, got a lawyer, and started the divorce process. They've been trying to rebuild their life, but their online presence has never recovered. I don't feel great about how things went down, but they shattered my trust, and I wasn't going to let them get away with it. Sometimes revenge is the only closure you can get. Thanks for joining me on this emotional journey. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories. And as always, stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one.